to be educated, but I'm so frustrated.
Hey, Mindset.
What's up, man?
Guess what I just saw?
Calm down, bro. What's going on?
Kool and the gang playing straight funk?
Oh, come on, man. That's not nothing new, man.
I thought them boys only played disco funk.
No, I know what you're talking about. Celebration and get down on it and all that stuff like that. Man, let me tell you something. Kool and the Gang is a lot more than just that. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people don't know that Kool and the Gang go back to the really real funk back in the early 70s and even the 60s, you know what I mean, when they were doing that thing. And that's what we're going to get into tonight, just for the sake of Mr. V-Man, because he needs to be kind of updated and educated on some of the things that he's supposed to be working on for me. But anyway, we're going to get into that tonight, man. There's a song called Funky Stuff. And I remember when I was in college, man, in the band, we would play this song, man. And man, I tell you what, you have the crowd. I don't care if it's 50, 60,000 people, everybody up on their feet shouting the words out and stuff like that. Half of the people don't even know what they're shouting or why they're shouting, but they're having a good time. We're going to get in that. Y'all hang around to the bottom, and we're going to talk a little bit more at the end, so y'all hang in there. Yeah, man, if you're like me, you just can't get enough of that funky stuff. Bruh, I mean the music. Look at you. And Kool and the Gang vowed to keep giving it to you back in the day, too. But check this out, family. If you thought those neck battles were the only thing shaking up the stands at HBCU football games, well, let me let you in on another little secret hiding deep inside historically black college and university marching band culture. Oh yeah, and if you ever heard a full tuba section blast that thing through a stadium while the band is chanting and the drumline is rocking underneath it, then you already know exactly what kind of trouble we're about to get into today. And if you don't know, just hang around for a minute, because this is one of those stories where the funk music escaped the radio again and took on a whole new life of its own. We are talking about Funky Stuff by Kool and the Gang, baby. A song that started as a greasy little groove cooked up inside a New York recording studio back in 1973, only to later become part of the DNA of marching band culture, hip-hop sampling culture, and just straight-up urban community music history. But before any of the young folk got hold of the song, there was just Kool and the Gang trying to create some of the nastiest funk they could possibly put on wax. Wait now, I know, when most casual fans think about Kool and the Gang today, they usually think about the sweet and cool dance tunes and ballads like Celebration, Cherish, Joanna, or their other smoother crossover hits from the 80s. But nah, brother, this story takes us back before all that polished radio success. This was the raw era. Afros, platform shoes, sweaty clubs, jazz musicianship, street rhythm, and enough percussion to shake your living room windows out the frame. Yeah, man, back then, Kool and the Gang were one of the tightest funk outfits in America, and they had already built a reputation around New Jersey and New York as musicians who could straight up jam the gad-dang funk. The group had actually started years earlier in Jersey City, New Jersey, when brothers Ronald Bell and Robert Kool Bell began playing jazz along with neighborhood friends. These cats were trained musicians too, not just dudes banging around in the garage. They studied Miles Davis, jazz harmony, and horn arrangements, but they also understood what made people move on the dance floor. That combination became the secret weapon. Kool and the Gang could play sophisticated music without losing the street energy. And by the time 1973 rolled around, they were hungry to break through nationally. So the band headed into Media Sound Studios in New York City to work on an album called Wild and Peaceful. But check this out, because this part almost sounds like a funk fairy tale. Upstairs, in the same building, Santana was recording too. So while Kool and the Gang were downstairs laying down heavy funk grooves, Santana's Latin rock energy was floating through the walls and hallways upstairs. Man, can you imagine being inside that building? That had to be enough rhythm in one place to make the elevators break off the cable and fall to the bottom floor. And then during one legendary 16-hour recording session starting around 8 in the morning, Kool and the Gang knocked out multiple monster tracks, nearly back to back. Yeah, cousins, they gave us stuff like this.
Get it up.
Jungle Boogie, partner. Then they hit folks upside the head with this groove too. And Hollywood Swinging was the jam. But buried right in the middle of all that funk madness was a groove that sounded like it was built in a laboratory, specifically to make people lose control. Ah, yeah. Coming in like a funk machine express train. Man, I know back then I was a shorty, and I know that me and the people could never get enough of it. But get enough of what though?
Can't get it up. I tried. Oh, that funky stuff.
Listening to that thing closely for a second, you hear that was not just a song. That was a whole attitude coming through the speakers. Nah, dawg, I gotta give it to you up close, under the hood of the funk machine style, starting with the bottom of the joint we have here. Robert Kool, on his signature Fender bass guitar, laid down a line so greasy it sounded like he intended to leave the place with permanent calluses on his hands. And what would a funky song be without drums? George Brown came behind him with drums like he was trying to kick and beat his way out of a big old cardboard box. What's funk without a chanking guitar part? Played as Charles Smith chopped away on guitar with those tight little scratches and rhythmic cuts, like he was auditioning to get a job with the James Brown Band. And then came the horns. Man, Lord have mercy. Those horn flaps sounded like somebody kicking open the doors to a block party, with plans to hand out some funk citations to all the suckers holding up the wall and not dancing. And the beautiful thing about funky stuff was its simplicity. The groove was hypnotic without being overcrowded. It left room to breathe. It gave dancers space to shake their rumps. It made DJs look like they knew what they were doing. And with all that, later on, it gave marching bands room to personalize it and turn it into their own weapon. See, that is the part many folks outside the culture miss. HBCU bands do not just randomly grab songs because they are popular. Nah, they listen for grooves with power, grooves with attitude, grooves with enough space for a horn section to stretch out and make a statement. And funky stuff was practically begging for a marching band to get a hold of it. I know, because years later when I came into the college marching band scene, man, that thing was still hitting just as hard. If you've ever sat in a packed HBCU stadium on a Saturday afternoon, especially down south, you already know the bands aren't just background entertainment. One band plays something slick, the other answers back louder. People leave those games not even remembering the score, but they can tell you exactly which band blew the other one out of the stadium. Funky stuff fit that atmosphere perfectly because the groove itself had swagger built into it. But that groove was also spreading into the hip-hop world. Long before producers were digging through crates for samples, Kool and the gang had already built music that rappers would treat like a gold mine. The rhythm was too deep to stay trapped in the 70s. Eventually, icons like the Beastie Boys, NWA, Gang Starr, and Mobb Deep all reached back into those old funk grooves. Kool and the gang became one of the most sampled groups in history. But here's the wild part. When funky stuff first dropped, some radio stations were uncomfortable even saying the word funky. Today, that word is used to sell hamburgers and laundry detergent, but back then, it was associated with rebellion, black expression, and a sound too raw for mainstream comfort. Wild and Peaceful became a massive breakthrough, crossing over from the R&B charts to make the band a global force. After that raw era, the group transitioned from gritty street funk into a sleek 1980s pop disco powerhouse. With the addition of the silky soul voice of J.T. Taylor in 1979, they tore up the decade with household hits, all without abandoning the funk underneath. But as the years passed, the group experienced its share of losses. Of the original founding members who recorded Funky Stuff, only one remains with us today. Robert Kool Bell, the band's co-founder and bassist, is the last surviving member of the original Magnificent Seven, standing strong at 75. And JT Taylor, the man who helped take them to that next level, is 72 and still active in the business. But every football season, in the mind of a hip-hop producer or in the set list of a cover band, a new generation picks up that funky stuff feel all over again. And honestly, family, that may be the greatest accomplishment of all. The groove survived. It escaped the studio, the charts, and the 70s to become a permanent part of American culture itself. Now, that's some of the legacy of the Funky Stuff song done by Kool and the Gang, but I would be remiss, and I almost forgot to tell you about some of the recognition that this band got from the industry. Over 5 decades, they haven't just made hits, they've become icons, selling over 70 million records worldwide. Along the way, they've earned 2 Grammy Awards, 7 American Music Awards, and an incredible 31 gold and platinum albums. You're seeing them here after receiving their star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame in 2015, a permanent tribute to their influence on the global groove. But the ultimate crown came in 2024 with their induction into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, where remaining legends Robert Kool Bell and JT Taylor stood together to represent a gang that truly defined the sound of a generation. The only downer is that they had been eligible since 1994. The Ohio players, there is still hope for you brothers. Yeah, man, that's just how it goes when it comes down to something funky, like Funky Stuff. Man, I tell you, I know some boys back in the days when I was in school. Man, you put that on, that's all we talking about, having a good time and turning it out, you know what I'm saying? Hey, by the way, you know, we talked about the land of funk and stuff like that, and we're always talking about where funk is coming from, but let me tell you something. It's always connected back to Ohio some kind of way. Hey, the Bell brothers, they were actually from Ohio, Youngstown, Ohio, and stuff like that. So they were bringing that funk up to New Jersey. They went up there when they were kids, and they ended up starting this band up and stuff like that. So I thought you should know that, man. The funk never falls far from Ohio some kind of way, you know what I mean? Hey, I hope you appreciate that, guys. Check the channel out next time. Do what you can do to help support it, and I'm going to see you guys next time.